Here we go. We are going to paint some really cute dogs today. And these dogs aren't, maybe they're not the most realistic dogs you've ever seen, but they're going to be very fun and very entertaining. So I invite you to join with me and paint some dogs. You can paint them in any colors you want. You don't have to paint them in realistic dog colors. They can be silly colors if you want to. All right, so the first dog we're going to paint is kind of going to be a little bit of an S-shaped dog. So we're going to come down like this. So this is going to be the shape of the dog's body. And it's going to be a very tall dog. And we're going to come down and kind of make a point. I know it doesn't look like a dog right now, but you just have to trust me. And I'm going to try to make this brown very, very light. We're going to paint from light to dark with our dogs today. So you want your lightest color to go down first. And all right. So at this point, I know this kind of looks like a slug. It doesn't look like a dog. Trust me, just trust me. So I'm going to get a little more brown and we're going to make our dog's little head. And this dog has a really long nose. So this is like a long and tall dog. And for now, we're just doing the body. And this dog is going to have little ears that kind of cut. This is an ear, FYI. And this is the other ear. So we'll just pull those little ears to a point. I know you're thinking it might not look much like a dog now, but it will in the end. So I'm going to have little pointy ears. And then we're going to come up and give the dog its haunch, like its little leg here. So it's going to have a very big hump that comes here. And anywhere this paint is already drying, we can go and just re-wet it and keep it nice and light. All right, and then it's gonna have a little skinny tail. So the tail comes out of here. It's very skinny and it's kind of tall. And I'm running out of paint. So it's very skinny. It's kind of tall. And it's just gonna curl over a little bit. And then we can come back and make it a little bit thicker if we want to. So that's my doggy's little tail. All right, and then it's gonna have a foot that comes out. So this is our dog's foot. So that's its back foot. Can you see it kind of turning into a dog shape now? I hope that you can. So that's its little back foot. And then we'll give it some front feet, some front legs. So we'll come down from its little body and give it some front legs. Maybe, okay. So let's just come down like this and give it one leg. And then we'll give it another leg. So now it's got two little dog legs. And I want them to kind of be the same thickness. All right, so there is one dog. And we're gonna let the dog parts on this dog dry for now. And then we can come back to it and we'll add some more things. All right. Okay, next dog. Let's see. For our next dog, what should we do? We have a very skinny dog here. Let's do a little short dog. How about that? A little short weenie dog. All right. So the weenie dog's going to be really long, right? So we're going to have, here's our weenie dog's neck and its head. So we're going to come over and give it its little snout. So this is the beginning of our dachshund. And then I'm going to make it very long, so everyone knows it's a dachshund, right? They have to be nice and long. Super long dog. There's a lot of color here, so I'm going to try to sweep it back and use it in the rest of the dog, because I really want to come back and put some darker color on it after this dries. So we're going to have, what else do we need? Oh, we definitely need a tail. So let's give our dog a little tail. And then what else do we need on a dog? We need some legs. Okay. And since this is our dachshund, we have very short little legs. And you can give your legs a little bit of thickness at the top if you want to. So this is our dachshund. And let's see, what else might we do? I think that I want this dachshund, maybe I'm going to make it a little bit lower. Make it really low and long. All right. So we're going to let that dog dry. And then what else should we do? Our dogs can be all on the ground, or we can just have some floating dogs. This is nonsensical dogs, so we can do whatever we want. I think I'm going to go ahead and dry what's here. Just going to use this to do some drying. Just in case my dogs overlap. That can happen. All right. And let's do one more dog that's maybe kind of tall, and maybe it's behind one of these dogs. I'm thinking that I'm about to sneeze. Yep, I sneezed. I sneezed again. All right, here we go with our last little dog. And I'm going to use black, but I'm going to use it in a very light, sparing way. So this dog is kind of going to be shaped just like a vase. So we're going to come up, we're going to come in at the neck. Let me get a little more paint so you can see that. We're going to come up, we're going to avoid this dog's tail. We're going to come in. And we're going to do that same thing over here. Come out. And we're going to avoid our dachshund because we don't want to get a lot of paint on there. And then, speaking of dogs, how fun is it that I've got a dog barking in this tutorial? And I will tell you why, my friends, because the mail carrier is here. The mail is being delivered, and Ginger believes that she needs to be part of that. Very, very much. She really, truly believes that. So, Ginger, thank you for adding a little bit of real dog action to this tutorial video. Now, if you could calm down and go back and hang out, that would be great. All right, so I'm painting a light coat, and I'm trying to just make this kind of even throughout. And I want to make sure that I go around my little orange dog over here, because I don't want to get too much of the black paint on the orange dog, but we do have to make the side of this dog over here. This dog is sitting right behind. Maybe I'll water down some paint over here so I don't have it so dark. There we go. Now I've got paint and it's not dark, and I'm just going to come around this dog, and I'm going to try not to touch where I've painted that dog, right? But I do have to put the dark dog color behind it. So I'm just going to come close, but not touch. That's perfect. All right. So we're just putting the shape, just the silhouette of these dogs in, and we'll come back and add detail when the paint at the edge is dry. All right, so then we need to put this dog's neck and head. I'm going to water this down because I really don't want a great deal of paint. And all right, so let's go. Our head is just going to kind of come up and be this shape. And then we can have a little snout coming off this side. All right, that looks like a beak. Let's make it more rounded. And again, I'm just keeping this nice and light gray for my dog. If your dogs are a different color, I think that's okay. If you want to have a pink dog or a green dog, you could have a blue dog. That would be fine with me. All right, so we've got our dog shape drawn in here. This dog needs a tail also, though. So what are we going to do? We're going to have to go from behind this dachshund. All right, so this dog's tail, oh, maybe it could be friends with this dog. And its tail can be coming down behind it. So what we want to do is just avoid painting the brown dog's tail. The brown dog's tail's in front, so we want to see it, and we want to avoid painting that with this color. All right, so there is that dog. Now our dogs need some ears, some bellies, so we can come and add those in, and some paws. Some of these dogs need some more paws. All right. Whoa, what is this? Paint is getting kind of thick on the edge. Let me go fix that. I'll just make this tail a tiny bit thicker. It's just the way it's going to have to be. All right. And then I'm going to come in, dry just a little bit. Just a little bit of fanning. And we can start working on our little brown dog. My little brown dog that's kind of skinny. It's a tall, skinny greyhound kind of a dog. And let's see. Maybe it's going to have some brown spots on it. So I'm going to mix some brown in here and make it, I need to use a brown that is a little bit darker than what I've already put on the page. And the way that's going to happen is I'm going to use this brown, and maybe I'm going to add a little bit of orange to it. So we're going to make kind of this orangey brown terracotta color. You could add some black to it. I just want it to be a darker and thicker color than what I already have on the page. So this dog can get some spots. So I'm going to give it a spot here. It's going to have a big spot on its back. And then where else? It can just have spots all over. Gonna be a cute spot there. Maybe a little spot here. A little spot here. And maybe we'll give it like a whole full spot here. And the spots don't have to be perfect. They can be kind of weird shapes because that's what dog spots are like, right? We don't know. Dog spots don't always make a lot of sense. They just have a little pattern to them. So we're going to add some spots on this pup. And maybe it can have some spots on its legs too. All right. And then I'm going to give it needs a little nose and it needs some ear. Maybe it needs some spots on its ears. That's cute. Maybe one right here. Give it a little spot on its foot here. And then maybe on the tip of its tail. That's cute. Alrighty. I don't want to run into this wet paint here, so I'm going to give it some spots. But I'm trying not to touch that wet paint there. Alright, so that dog has its spots. And we'll let those spots dry while we come over and put some more interesting things on our dachshund. So the dachshund needs a long little ear. And what color should that be in? I think I'm going to do it in maybe just regular brown. All right, so I'm going to come and put just a nice long ear on this pup. So there's our nice long ear. That is adorable. Okay, and also I'm going to do the nose in brown. So let's just give our dachshund a little round nose. Hee hee hee. Little round nose. All right. And that's all it needs in brown, I think. You could put spots on it. You could put stripes. You could do whatever you want. But my dachshund is just going to be plain like that. And then for our larger dog here, let's give it, I'm going to use black for this pup. And I'm going to give it maybe a black ear. Should it have a long ear or a pointy ear? I think it's going to have long ears. Let's give it a, let me see if that's dry. That's not dry. I need to dry it a little bit. All right. Back in a moment. Okay, so once my dog, I know that my gray dog now is nice and dry, so I can start painting an ear on it. And I'm going to go in black. I'm going to make this black a little more dark. And this dog's just going to have a nice long ear as well. So I'm going to come right here and come down and draw that ear. And then we'll fill it in. And I always go a little smaller at first because I can go bigger, but I can't make that ear smaller once I've already made it. So I want it to be a little bit bigger. And there's that dog's ear. And then I'm going to give it a little black tip on its tail to match that ear. That's kind of cute. And then its little legs in front can also be black. So I'm going to get a little more black. And I'm going to come down and just give it a couple of little legs. And what I'm trying to do is stay away from this dachshund. So there we go. Mission accomplished. I did not want to touch my orange dog with my black paint. All right, and this dog also needs a nose. So I'm going to give it a little nose right at the end. Just like that. So there's that dog's nose. And then we need to give this dog a nose, but I don't think that nose should be black. I think I'm going to use a brown. I'm going to give this puppy, let's see. I'm going to give this dog a little brown nose. That's cute. So there's that doggy's nose. And what else do we need? Our dogs can have collars if we want them to. I'll give you a little hint. I'm going to come in and make the dog's eyes out of marker because I don't know if I can control my, I don't know if I can control my paint. All right, I'm going to give everybody cute little, I'm going to get some red and bring it in here, and it's just a very light red. I'm not using a lot at all. I'm mixing it nice and light, and I'm going to give everybody kind of a cute little cheek. So, like, this dog is going to have a little cheek, and that's too much paint, so I'm going to dry my brush out and suck some of that paint right up off the page, and that makes it a light color. But it's a cute little, it could be a tongue, it could be licking the side of its face. I meant for it to be a cheek, but it could be that also. All right, and let's give this one a cute little cheek. It's important that you can see that it's a cheek and not a spot on the dog. Might be a little confusing. And then I'll give my other dog a little cheek. We don't need much red paint in there at all. So there's this dog's cheek is bigger. Why? Because it's a bigger dog. And you could give them a tongue. They could have a silly little tongue hanging out of their mouth. Some dogs do. All right. We can also come in, since this was a lighter color and this gray is a lighter color, we can come in with a darker black, and we can make our dog look a little bit scruffy. So I think that's how this dog's gonna look. And I'm getting a lot of the paint out of my brush, so I don't have a lot of the paint in my brush. But I am just going to kind of put some very light, thin little strokes along my dog's body. And that's how I'm showing you that this is kind of a hairy little dog. And some of the hairs can come off the side too. You can make them scruffy that way. Can have some scruff coming off of these ears and the head. I think some scruff would definitely be cute up here on the head. Maybe, let's see, maybe also coming off the ears. We'll make that ear very scruffy and fuzzy also. And I can go on top, even though both of these blacks are dark, since this black is dried, I can go on top of it and we're still gonna see that texture. Hopefully you can see how that works. All right, and then I'm also gonna give these legs some scruffy texture. That is so cute. I love it. Okay. And even on our scruff, we have some that is a little bit darker and some that's lighter. And then, let's see, we need a little bit of, a little scruff up here, right? Maybe we have a scruffy face. I like it. Okay, Oh, and the tail. We've got to have some scruff on this tail. That's fantastic. I'm loving it. Okay, so we've got a scruffy dog. And I can even come back in with, I could come back in with another color. I could use some white, but I can add additional scruff in a little bit of a darker black. And that just adds a little texture. Just gives it a little bit of depth. You could come in with brown. You could add brown or white scruff to this dog. And I think it would be successful. All right, that's pretty cute. And you can make your dog striped if you want to. You could do something, what could we do to this dog that would make it a little fancier? Maybe we can give it some claws, but I'll do that with my marker. All right, so you can decide if you want to put anything in the background. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm going to go in this dog's ears with a little bit of my pink color as well. I think that would make sense. So I'm putting that on there, but then I'm also taking it off a little bit. All right, now I'm going to go in. I'm just going to get a little bit of black, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to give these dogs some little claws. Womp, womp, womp. Claw, claw, claw. Claw, claw, claw. And let's see. You know what? I'm not going to put any claws on this one because I think the paws are too little. I'll do it with my marker. Okay, so I'm done with my paintbrush. And now I'm going to get my marker because I think this is going to make my work a little bit easier. And this dog, these dogs aren't going to have open eyes. They're going to have like kind of cute little closed eyes or black eyes. But this dog has that sort of an eye. And then it's going to have a little mouth that goes up to its nose. And then it can have some claws. Claw, 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 claw. All right. Let's see. This dog is going to have, maybe this dog has a little black eye. And I left a tiny place in the center of the eye that's not colored in. And then we'll give our doggy a little smile. Ah, my paintbrush just rolled over my paper. Luckily, it was not a disaster. Maybe I'm going to give this dog some eyelashes. Maybe that's a cute little eyelashy dog. Okay, and then this dog, what kind of eye should we give this dog? Let's give this puppy a big eye, and I'm going to have a white spot in the middle because that dog is looking at the other dog. So I'm leaving a little spot in the middle, and then we need to give this dog a smile, right? So let's go like that. So there's our dogs. We can come in, we can give them collars if we want to. Let's do that. Let's see. I'll give this dog can have a red collar. And this will be very easy because this is all dry. So I'm just going to put the collar on. Your dog could be wearing a coat. It could have just a collar. It could be wearing a scarf. Any manner of things will work. So that dog has a red collar. Let's give this one a, let's see, blue or green? Let's do blue. I'm going to give this dog a blue collar. I don't know, maybe purple. Maybe green, gosh. Tough decision. I'm gonna go green. This dog is dressed for spring. All right, and I know that there is already some paint underneath here. I'm gonna not touch this ear. I'm gonna go right up to it, but not touch it. And there's some paint underneath here, but if I paint thick enough with this green, I think it'll be still successful. There we go. So there's our green collar on this pup. And then let's see on this dog. Because I have orange underneath, I might need to use a color that contains orange, or a color at least that doesn't mix with orange and make a brown. Let's see, what can I do? I should have not done this dog's color red because I had a little more flexibility there. I don't want to do brown because that would look like the ear. Let's see. Maybe this dog just has an orange collar. So I'm going to go into my orange. And we'll give this dog a nice orange collar. There we go. And if you want to, you can add a little name tag to the dog collar. I would do that with the pen. You can give your dogs, let's see, what else could they have? Maybe a little bow. That would be so cute. All right. Your dog could be wearing a hat. There's a lot of cute ways to go with this. Let's see. I'm going to give my dogs all like a little name tag that's yellow. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not touching, absolutely not touching that tag to the collar. So my dogs that are sideways like this can kind of have one. And when that dries, I can go over it with my marker and make it look like it's connected. All right. Let's get this a little bit bigger. And then I want to give one of these dogs a bow on its head. Which dog should it be? I don't know. Maybe I'll give the weenie dog a bow on its head. I think that's the way to go. It can have a purple bow. Purple, purple, purple. So to make a bow, I'm just going to make one loop and another loop that meet at the center. So it kind of looks like a little infinity symbol. And then I'm going to come down and make it be a wiggly bow and curl at the end. And this one can curl up. So there's my dog bow. All right, that's fun. So there's our dogs, and you can color in the background. You can do any number of things. You can add sky, you could have some birds. You can do whatever you want. All right. Okay, so my doggies are all dry. I think I'm gonna come in and put, let's see, it's gonna be a sunny little day in doggy land. So I'm gonna put a sun. I'm just gonna go, here's our sun. It's very pretty. It's very yellow. I know it's a nice day because my dogs aren't wearing raincoats. Maybe my dogs are in the grass. So now that everybody's kind of dry down here, I can come in and do whatever I want on the ground. So I'm going to bring some green. And I'm just going to add some grass like this. It doesn't really matter if I go over the dogs. I'm trying not to go too much over the dogs because I did work kind of hard to make them very cute. But I want some grass. So this green is not super watered down. And that's what's going to make it successful on top of these colors that are already there. And it's watercolor, so we know that it's not going to be opaque, and that's all right. So I'm going to go into my other green, my lighter green. This is just a mixture of yellow and green. So if all you have is the 8 paints, you can mix yellow and green together to get a color like this. So I'm going to do this, and then I'll come in kind of some of these spaces I didn't hit with that first green and add some of my this kind of lime or apple green color. It's funny, I keep trying to go between the blades of grass and I am getting nothing but right on top of them. Target fixation, I guess. All right. And if we make the grass under this dachshund a little bit taller, it'll make the dachshund seem shorter, which is what we really want here. So I'm kind of just trying to make sure that I don't have any like white showing through at the bottom. I'm trying to make sure I've covered all that. And we can put a sky in, or we don't have to. You could have a little bird or a butterfly flying around. You can do any number of things. I think what I'm going to do is just mix some super duper light blue, like a very, very light, happy, kind of a green blue. Very happy green blue, but it's super light, so it's very diluted. And I am going to come in and I'm just kind of going to like scribbling around, but I'm not really going to try not to touch my dogs. I call this scribbling because it gives us a background without us having to really go into all these tiny spaces and do a lot of detail work with our watercolor and, you know, risk running into the dogs. So if you keep it kind of a little scribbly, loose texture, it looks okay that it doesn't actually touch the dogs, and it just gives you a little bit more of an interesting background and maybe some movement in that background. Suggested movement. So I'm just doing some scribbling with my paint, trying not to touch the paint that's already there. Just adding a touch of background to these white spaces. Another option would be to paint your whole paper a very light color before you begin. But we didn't do that, so this is what I'm doing now. So it's a very doggy day. I am running out of paint, but I don't want to mix anymore. So I'm just going to work with what I have here. Use it all up. Wow, there's a lot of seagulls outside my window, and they are just really making a lot of noise. All right, I got a lot of paint on this, so I'm going to water it down and get some of that paint off of there because I think it's going to dry too sticky if I leave that. There we go. Okay, so, I mean, the last thing I'm going to do is just, I'm going to make this little all right. So now I'm done with my doggies. Yay! All right, I'm going to pull this because I know that background is already dry. Pulling my tape. do the top so I can do the bottom last. There we go. And last one. All right, there's my doggies. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and sign it. All right. Here we go.